Hi, and thanks for logging on to the Daily Dvar, and here's a brand new halacha for you, and it's for Friday, the 8th day of July. Here we go. You all know, I hope, the halacha that whenever you make a hamotzi at the beginning of a big meal, like let's take a Shabbos meal as an example, that bracha of hamotzi covers for most of the things that you're eating during that meal, because they're all kind of eaten with the bread. Bread is a very important bracha, and then the hamotzi at the meal is pretty much the only bracha that you make. But then we come to the interesting topic of dessert. The reason the bread covers the bracha of all the main things in the meal is because all those things are considered eaten with the bread. And the bread is an important food, so we even view the meat almost as if it's sandwiched in the bread, even if you're not putting it in a sandwich with the bread. And therefore you don't make a bracha on your kugels and your meats, etc., even the vegetables during the meal. When you eat dessert, however, dessert is often eaten as something that's kind of like not part of the meal. You're not so hungry when you get to dessert. You're not eating it with the bread. You're not really eating the meal. You're just having some very tasty stuff to pile up on top of the end of the meal. And therefore a lot of rabbis, not all, but a lot of rabbis believe that brachas should be made on dessert. So when they bring you, let's say, a fruit cup at the end of the meal, you would make a special bori pri ha'etz on the fruit cup, because it's not really eaten with the bread and it's not really under the rubric of the hamotzi bracha from the meal, and therefore it requires its own separate bracha. Not all rabbis agree with this, but this is the opinion of the majority of the rabbis kind of rule that way. They rule that way for most of the dessert items that are brought to you, like fruit, cooked fruit, ice creams, and stuff like that. And therefore, you might want to discuss this with your rabbi, because it is a controversial topic. But the majority of the rabbis say that a bracha should be made on dessert items. Now, two exceptions would be, let's say, a cup of tea that they bring you as a dessert. Now, that's not really its own separate food item. That's kind of washing down the meal that you just ate, so it kind of might fall under the hamotzi bracha that you made earlier, and therefore if you are going to have a separate cup of tea at your dessert, some people say, well, try to get another shahakol bracha item with that. You'll make a bracha on that, like the ice cream, and then have the coffee along with it or something, and then the bracha of the shahakal on the ice cream, which was needed, will cover the coffee, which was maybe questionable. Cake is its own separate category, and according to most, cake does not get a separate bracha at dessert, and maybe we'll discuss that on our next halacha. Thanks for logging on. Do discuss this with your rabbi if you want more clarification. This was just only the beginning of your education on this matter. Have a great Shabbos. Log on again after Shabbos for more. Bye-bye.